Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with the updated moveset guide on Bewear for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now that Pokemon Sun and Moon has been out for almost a year, Bewear has found itself in the RU tier. And it's a really cool Pokemon and I wanted to talk about it. And of course I will be showcasing it later today. So Bewear has base 120 HP, base 125 attack, and then it has this really cool ability in Fluffy which halves damage from contact moves and then takes super effective damage from fire type moves. So just to show you how bulky this Pokemon is, I'll show you a damage calc real quick. This is 0 HP invested Bewear, and close combat from Cobalion only does 48 to 57%. So that's just to show you that Fluffy is a really good ability on this mon, but keep in mind that it only works for contact moves, so an Earthquake will still hit it as strong as an Earthquake would. Moves have to make contact, so it has found itself in the RU tier, but I'll be talking about it in RU as well as UU, and if you even want to use an OU, you could. So the first set we have is the RU sub SD set. Now this set, the aim of it is to set up on Pokemon like Registeel, whose only offensive move is Seismic Toss, and with Bewear's base 120 HP, Seismic Toss actually, with 128 HP investment, Seismic Toss actually does not break your sub in one hit. You get those 101 substitutes, you get those fat substitutes. You could actually run less HP but to get those, but the speed mark was there for a reason, I'll talk about it in a second. But basically the idea is you set up on Registeel, you go for sub as they go for Seismic Toss or Toxic, you set up an SD as they need 2 Seismic Tosses to break your sub, and you can go for a sub again and your Earthquake deals with them. So Bewear is really cool in this tier, specifically because it is faster than Pokemon such as Umbreon, Mantine, and Florges with this EV spread, and that allows you to sub up on Umbreon's foul play. I'll actually show you the foul play calc right here. The foul play calc is only 12 to 14%, and Umbreon's usually running Spadef, so your return does 41 to 48%. They can't break your sub in one hit, and then when they're forced to go for Wish, you go for SD, and then you end up doing 82 to 97%. So it's great for dealing with Umbreon. It can deal with fat Pokemon as well, like Mantine and Florges. But the idea of this set is you set up a sub on Pokemon that should be scared out or Pokemon that can't break your sub, and you sweep from there. Return Earthquake is the preferred coverage. Return is your normal stab, also allowing you to hit Gligar, Chestnut, Pokemon in the air, and Earthquake is preferred over something like Hammer Arm or Superpower because one, you're raising your stats with Swords Dance, so you don't want to lower them anyway, and your speed is 188 for a reason, again being able to outspeed Umbreon, Mantine, and Florges. So that's pretty important when you're behind a sub with +2, because then you can do massive damage to Florges. And Earthquake is also preferred because not only does it hit the steel types like Registeel, but it also hits the Blade, which otherwise can take on Bewear. But it should be noted that with this EV spread, Iron Head from the Blade never breaks your sub in one hit. So you can check the Blade, you can sub SD, and your Earthquake does do 34 to 41%. So again, you can sub up on the Blade, SD up, and beat it 1v1 easily while getting leftovers recovery. Adamant Nature is the preferred just for the maximized attack power. But this set is really cool, and I can't wait to show it to you guys in the showcase later. Next up we have Choice Band Bewear. Now Bewear does hit incredibly hard, and it has been granted a pretty decent moveset. Normal fighting coverage is actually not bad, especially when coupled with Earthquake, and it has Ice Punch as well for, you know, the big walls in RU being Gligar, also being able to hit Chestnut, but those return does do more than that. But what this set does is it basically uses Bewear as a nuke. You go max speed, max attack. I think max speed is just necessary. It allows you to outspeed variations of Gligar and threaten them with the Choice Band Ice Punch. Also outspeeding less speedy variations of Chestnut, Quillfish, and of course most, if not all, Mantine, Umbreon, and Florges. Now there are some other options. Instead of Return, you can run Double Edge for the added power. Hammer Arm is a move that you can run over Superpower, but I actually prefer Superpower just because it's stronger than Hammer Arm, obviously at first, but you do get the defense raises. So you pick your poison. You either get the speed drop or you get the stronger attack, and you get the defense drops right there. Not raise, excuse me. Shadow Claw is an option as well because in RU there are ghost types like Mismagius and more so Delmise. And if you're running Shadow Claw over Earthquake, you can hit those while also still being able to hit the blade, but it has to be noted that Shadow Claw is definitely weaker than Earthquake versus that. And then Facade is also an option because if you are burnt by Will-O-Wisp, you still have a full power Facade, and coming off in the choice band, this mon has no switch-ins if that is the case. So those are just a few options for the choice band set. You can run Adamant or Jolly. I prefer Adamant just for the power and the fact that unless Gligar is running speed, you are faster than it anyway, and your Ice Punch is going to do a hell of a lot. So the next set we do have is the Swords Dance Normalium Z set, and the aim of this set is to pretty much be a sweeper. Now this set can actually work in UU as well, but you have to be careful because Primarina are also running Timid, so you're risking a speed tie with that, and the fact that there are a lot more Pokemon down there. There's Pokemon that are running around like Hydreigon and Entei, and they don't switch into you, but they definitely check you with, well, Entei, Fluffy, Flare Blitz is going to Flare Blitz is going to hurt. Hydreigon obviously has Fire Blast. But the idea of this set is to make Double Edge a nuke. +2 Double Edge, Normalium Z, can KO Gligar always after Stealth Rock. Fizz Def Gligar. And that's really good for some partners that Bewear does have. And I'll actually be showing you the partners in a sec while we're talking about it. But Swords Dance Double Edge Superpower Earthquake is the set. This can also be ran on Aurora Veil teams. That way you give Bewear that added bulk. But again, the idea is you have this nuke normal type attack. You want Jolly, you want to ensure that you're faster than Chestnuts, unless they're running max speed. You want to be sure that you're faster than Glygars. You want to be sure that you're faster than pretty much any defensive wall in the RU tier. And the aim of this set is just to break through your opponent. But this set does need Pokemon like Delmise to be gone before it can actually do a little bit of work. Now, again, this set can be used in UU as well, but it does have... It has Pokemon such as, again, the offensive pressure of Pokemon like Fire types like Entei, as well as Pokemon with Fire type attacks like Hydreigon, and then it also has to worry about Latias in that, or Latias rather, in there. But with base 60 speed going max, you do at least speed tie at most with Specs Primarina if they are running Timid, and also being faster than the bulk of Pokemon down there like Swampert and Scizor. Being able to take a hit from Crocodile and whatnot is pretty cool. So if you are using that in UU. Now, I would actually use Choice Band in the UU tier just because no switch-ins. It really does have no switch-ins. Ice Punch is there for Gliscor. Return is just your solid stab to do a KO. I prefer Return in UU over Double Edge, mainly because Latias' Psyshock does not knock you out from full 100% of the time, but if you take a little bit of recoil from Double Edge, it will. Obviously, Draco can also knock you out, but they have to risk hitting that. But spamming returns, Earthquake is nice, being able to hit Volcanion, as well as just doing solid damage to steel types in general. And then Superpower is your last attack. And Earthquake is also really nice because it also deals with Pokemon like Chandler down there. So you can also run Shadow Claw if you wanted, and Shadow Claw would give you the ability to hit Chandler as well as Decidueye. But I prefer Earthquake just for the, again, additional power and hitting Empoleon, hitting Pokemon. Obviously, you do have the Superpower for that as well. But Bewear does hit really hard. Choice Band set could even be used in OU, and the reason I say that is because it has enough speed to outspeed defensive Landers, defensive Tapu Fini if they're not running much speed, defensive Rotom. So a Choice Band set or an SD Normalium set could be really cool down there. I've also used this SD Life Orb. I've also used Assault Vest. Speaking of Assault Vest, it is another option. I didn't really make a set on it because I feel like the spread that I made before when I made a moveset video on it is outdated. And like the tier is totally different than what it was. But Assault Vest is definitely an option because Bewear does have that high HP stat, so being able to take hits. If you actually run a max HP Assault Vest in UU, Latias never knocks you out with Psyshock or with Draco, and you can do damage with Return back. A few other options like a sub bulk up set. I found SD to be a lot better though than bulk up, but if you use it and it works, great. Bulk up is an option, but again, I found SD to be better, especially in the RU tier when there are so many walls. Mantine, Umbreon, Florges at +2, you're dealing so much damage to them, it's almost not worth giving up. Taunt is an option, but you're really missing out on, like, if you run Taunt, you could probably run Toxic for something like Mantine, but then again, you would need a Cleric on your team, because like you're really missing out on the point of Bewear, which is just to hit hard, take some hits because of Fluffy, and again, just beat down your opponent with +2 attacks or a Choice Band attack. Toxic is also an option for walls. If you're using an OU, Toxic is pretty cool for Landers, wearing that thing down. If you are using Bewear and OU as well, if you're using Sword Dance, definitely run Earthquake on it because of Tox effects. That's just one thing to note. And from Force Palm is also another cool option. I really did wish that this bear got Drain Punch, because Drain Punch would be really cool on a sub SD set, or even just on an SD set in general. Hopefully with Ultra Sun and Moon coming out, it does get something like Drain Punch to abuse. But Force Palm is a cool option, especially on like a Assault Vest support set, because you're going for that para chance and you're punishing your opponent 30% of the time for switching in on Bewear, regardless of them resisting or not. So a few checks and counters, and then we'll talk about some teammates. Actually, we'll talk about some teammates first. So if you are using an RU, Slurpuff is a great teammate because it does appreciate Bewear being able to break through Pokemon like Gligar as well as Registeel, Mons that deal with Belly Jump Slurpuff to an extent and can Toxic wear them down and Roost Stall and taunt them and whatnot. So if you are using an RU, Slurpuff is a great partner. Mantine's also a great partner, being able to take on the fire type attacks that threaten Bewear because of its fluffy ability, as well as providing defog and Toxic support. It also is another Pokemon that appreciates Pokemon like Registeel being gone, because Registeel can 1v1 Mantine with Toxic, even though Mantine does have recovery and Roost. So, and again, Mantine does pair really well, having that Roost recovery and being able to come in on the fire types of RU, like Salazzle, like Typhlosion, and then providing that defog support. Also in UU, you can use Mantine as well. Salazzle is another great partner. It appreciates Gligar being dealt with, especially if it is Spadef Gligar, because Spadef Gligar does take a +2 Fire Blast from Salazzle and knocks it out with Earthquake, so it appreciates Gligar being weakened or gone. It appreciates Pokemon like Umbreon being broken down, that way Salazzle has an easier sweep. And then, likewise, Bewear appreciates the fact that Salazzle deals with fairy types, such as Florius, if it's not running like an SD set, if Bewear isn't running an SD set. So it deals with that, sets up on them. And basically, Salazzle is a great Pokemon in the tier, so having a partner that deals with the Pokemon that do threaten Salazzle is really solid. Now, if you are taking it up to the UU tier, Crocodile and Scizor are great partners, being able to Pursuit Trap Latias, or Latias rather, and as well as taking... as well as in Crocodile's case, it can Revenge Kill Entei, get off the Intimidate, Forsaken Fire, being able to deal with that. Scizor appreciates the fact that Bewear breaks through physical walls like Gliscor, so that's really nice. And also just being able to Pursue Trap Ghost types like Chandelure or Decidueye, or at least knock them off, and pretty much Pokemon that stop Bewear from spamming Return, Double Edge, or Superpower. Basically, Pokemon that stop itself from spamming its stab moves. And last but not least, bulky waters like Swampert, Milotic are great partners in the UU tier, or even in RU. You guys saw I did have a bulky water in Mantine, because they do take the fire type attacks that come out of Bewear, and they also appreciate Bewear just breaking through walls. And you know, Swampert can set up Stealth Rock for Bewear. So again, if you guys have used Bewear and you guys have some sets that I did not mention, feel free to leave them down below. I will be putting this in the description. If you guys want to have the sets, I'll be leaving it right in the description. And you can let me know your thoughts on Bewear. I personally love this Pokemon. I do wish it got Drain Punch. I do wish it had like Close Combat or something, just a little bit more speed, but who doesn't wish that most of Alola had just a bit more speed? But it's a very solid Pokemon. If you're using it in OU as well, being faster than Landers, being able to break through Pokemon like Celesteela, Toxapex, Assault Vest, Tangrowth with an SD set is really cool. So I think this Pokemon is a staple in RU, and it's just also a great Pokemon to whatever tier you bring it. If you bring it up to UU or OU, it definitely can. It does have a niche down there, or in those tiers. But in any case, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you all guys learned something or enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.